With a divided Congress, Republicans have very few opportunities to curb the Democrats' out-of-control liberal agenda. I'm not sure that this bill used this once-in-a-Congress, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to adequately address a major threat to our national security, a threat to every single American. The $32 trillion national debt and Democrats' spending bender. Hey everybody, I'm here with an update on what has happened in Washington, D.C. this week. And it's a short update because it was a short week here in Washington. Members were scheduled to be back home in their districts, meeting with constituents, having local meetings there, addressing local issues. But because President Joe Biden felt it was more important to take a vacation in Delaware and jet off to the G7 summit than it was to sit at the negotiating table with Speaker McCarthy for the last 3 months, we got called in to vote in the last minute on a last-minute deal on the debt ceiling.
We will not be doing any negotiation over the debt ceiling. He doesn't believe that we should be negotiating. We've been very clear. We're not going to negotiate on the debt ceiling. We've been very clear. We're not negotiating around the debt ceiling. We should not be negotiating on the debt ceiling. There's no negotiation that we will be having on that particular issue. Debt ceiling, it should be done without negotiation. It should be done without conditions. There should be no negotiation. This should be done without conditions.
And let's be clear, this was a last-minute deal. Republicans, we passed our solution over a month ago. It was called the Limit, Save, Grow Act. But instead of taking up that bill, the Senate taking it up, President Biden taking a look at it, he forced Speaker McCarthy to negotiate an entirely new piece of legislation. They called it the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Now let's talk frankly about that bill. I don't believe that it was a step backwards for conservatives. The bill had provisions in it that independently in any piece of legislation, as a conservative, we would support and we would vote for. Taking money from the IRS, telling students they have to pay back their student loans, administrative pay-go, which is a program that says if the administration wants to spend $1, they have to take $1 from somewhere else. Those are not steps backwards, those are steps forward. But the question was, is that enough? Was that enough to vote to increase the debt limit? In negotiations, no one gets everything that they want. However, I'm not convinced that Republicans got enough in the end in that negotiation here. With a divided Congress, Republicans have very few opportunities to curb the Democrats' out-of-control liberal agenda. I'm not sure that this bill used this once-in-a-Congress, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to adequately address a major threat to our national security, a threat to every single American. The $32 trillion national debt and Democrats' spending bender. It imposed a one-year hiring freeze for 87,000 IRS agents, but it didn't permanently defund them. It restarted student loan payments, but it didn't squash Biden's student loan giveaway for good. It created an administrative pay-go, which I already described, and for the first time in history, in other words, the president will have to find a way to offset the cost of any executive order that he issues. But it has loopholes so big that you could drive a bus through them. It cuts spending, but not nearly as much as the Limit, Save, Grow Act cut spending. There are some positives to discuss this week. Credit where credit is due. Speaker McCarthy took a big step forward in terms of making the House of Representatives work the way that it should. I have to applaud him for abiding by the rules that we agreed to as a conference beginning of this Congress. A majority of the majority indicated support for the bill, which means it earned an up or down vote on the floor of the House of Representatives. Moreover, we had 72 hours to actually read the bill, digest the bill, debate the bill. It was not a 10,000-page bill loaded down with pork and unrelated provisions. It was all germane to the same issue. That's how this place should work on every piece of legislation, and it fulfilled a key promise of the Republican majority that the government will be accountable in that way. Produce legislation that people can understand. It doesn't mix all of these different things together because they have nothing to do with one another. I look forward to continuing to work through regular order on legislation that will strengthen our nation. In that, as always, I hope that you all have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you all back around home, and I wish you all the best. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.